Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our alternative audio coverage of Wales against England, the second and final match of Group B. I'm your alternative commentator, Nicholas Jones, and you are listening to the Commentary Hub. And we'll also have updates from the USA against Iran. Jack Hesson will be our reporter for that one. We'll get to him in a moment or two. But right now alongside me is my alternative co-commentator Luke Turton. I'm also pleased to have with me to give his thoughts before kick-off. Ross Vernon. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Nicholas. You are my friend.
Yes, I'm very well. And
how are you doing, Luke? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Good evening, everyone.
So Wales against England. No surprises as to who would be the favourite to win.
Absolutely, yes. I think England will be the favourites, Nicholas, as everyone will probably say. I know some people may not say that, especially after Wales lost to Iran and England comfortably beat Iran. I think England will have a good, strong chance of getting through. They have made 4 changes, which I'm sure Nicholas will go through very shortly, and I'm surprised by some of them that have actually have started, but I think he's going to be a good England side that Southgate has picked, and one that should help us get through and win comfortably, in my opinion, at the end of 90 minutes, and hopefully England finish top of the group.
Yes, absolutely. Wales completely disappointed against Iran after they perhaps raised their fans' hopes a little too high with that draw against the United States. But this ultimately cost them. But this ultimately will have cost them a chance to even have a remote chance of the round of 16. Their fate is out of their hands. And they can only qualify if they win by 4 goals or more. But everything else will depend on the USA the Iran match, which we'll hear from Jack in a moment. But it'll certainly be with the lineup that Wales have put forward. It'll be certainly interesting to see what Rob Page will bring to the table.
It will, yes, and I just want to get Luke's thoughts as well. Obviously, Luke, as you know, one of your players, Brennan Johnson, is on the bench for Wales tonight. Are you surprised that Rob Page has not gone with him tonight, especially after the performance of Kiefer Moore in the last game and gone Dan James up front and fetched in Brennan Johnson from the start? I know he's on the bench tonight for Wales. Are you surprised he's not starting him tonight in this one against England?
I'm very surprised because Johnson turned the game against the US, then didn't start against Iran, came on, looked a bit lively, and then he's benched him again. I mean, Dan James did nothing when he started, yet he's got another start. Yet Brennan Johnson's not been rewarded with a start. It's a bit like he's got certain favourites, in my opinion.
Yes, some people say that about Southgate. We're going to England side in a second, and I know Nicholas will run through the actual starting lineup in a second, but just want to pick out some key players in the England lineup. Jude Bellingham starts again after a couple of poor performances. Yes, I know he got the goal against Iran, but he was poor overall in that game. He was poor against USA. He continues to start. He's in the midfield 3 with Rice and Henderson, one of the 4 changes for England this evening. The other 3 changes are right back, which Kyle Walker comes in for Trippier. Nicholas will give you the full side in a moment. And then there's Foden and Rashford also coming in. Are you surprised by either of the front 2 coming in, Luke? For me, I'm especially surprised with Rashford coming in. I thought Saka may have stayed in and just switched to the left-hand side, which he's played a bit for Arsenal.
I think what you've got to remember here, Russ, is they played on the Monday, then they played again on the same Friday, and now they're playing Tuesday. And Saka and Sterling weren't that effective against the US. And we need to rotate the squad, use as many players as possible because that's why we've selected them. And if we just kept going with Saka and Sterling because they were good against Iran, then, I mean, the other players that may as well have not travelled at all. I mean, Rashford has played himself into the squad. Foden, there's been a clamour around. I mean, I wasn't that convinced that Foden should have come on in that game, but we'll see about today's game. But I'm not surprised that either Sterling or Saka have come out, in my opinion.
Very well, very well put by Luke Tyson, but before we go through the lineups between Wales against England, we've also got Iran against the USA tonight as well, with updates from Jack Hesson, who we can throw to now. Good evening, Jack. What's the latest news between both sides?
Yeah, very good evening. This one has a real cup final feel to it. I think whoever wins all but goes through. A draw could certainly complicate things, and also perhaps a top spot in the group up for grabs as well for either of the victors tonight. And the lineups go then as followed. Starting with Iran, it's Alreza Beranvand in goals, Ramin Razian, Majid Hosseini, Murtaza Polaganji, and Milad Mohammadi make up the back line. It's a midfield of Ahmad Nourali, Syed Israel Atoli, and Ihsan Hassafi. And it's attacking front three of Ali Golazade, Sardar Azum, goal scorer last game against Wales, and Porto's Mehdi Taremi. USA have changed up a few things from their draw against England, a 0-0 draw, of course. Matt Turner from Arsenal starts in goals. It's a backline of Anthony Robinson even, Tim Ream, Cameron Carter-Vickers of Celtic gets his first bit of action in the World Cup this time, and he loans alongside Sergio Dest, who plays at right back. The midfield, Yunus Musa, Weston McKennie, and Tyler Adams, who's impressed in both games in the World Cup so far. And it's a threatening front line of Christian Pulisic, Josh Sargent, and a score against Wales, Timo Weah. I'm very much looking forward to this one, I have to say.
Okay, but who do you think think's going to win, and why, or also do you think there could well be a draw?
I think a draw could be the most likely result. I think because both teams will know what a win takes to get them through. However, I'm edging closer towards Iran. I thought the England game didn't show all that they could do. I thought they were really impressive against Wales, and I think when you take everything into account, there's a bit of a rivalry between these two. They have played each other before, of course, in the World Cup, and Iran got the victory last time, and I think they'll have the passion to go and do it again and get a win against USA and get them into the last 16 of the World Cup.
Yes, thank you, Jack. We'll have your thoughts on the result between England and Wales later on, but for now, let's go through the lineups between Wales and England, starting with Wales. In goal is number 12, Danny Ward. Number 4, Ben Davies. Number 6, Joe Rodon. Number 5, Chris Mepham. Number 3, Nico Williams. Number 15, Ethan Ampadu. Number 7, Joe Allen. Number 10, Aaron Ramsey. Number 20, Dan James. Number 11, the captain, Gareth Bale. And number 13, Kiefer Moore. For England, in goal is number 1, Jordan Pickford. Number 3, Luke Shaw. Number 6, Harry Maguire. Number 5, John Stones. Number 2, Kyle Walker. Number 8, Jordan Henderson. Number 22, Jude Bellingham. Number 4, Declan Rice. Number 11, Marcus Rashford. Number 20, Phil Foden. And number 9, the captain, Harry Kane. So gentlemen, with the line, now that I've put to you the lineups, who would you say out the two is going to win, and why? Starting with Luke.
I think England will win purely for the fact that I think they've just got a better standard of players, plus Wales's big names haven't turned up yet. That being said, I do think we will concede one tonight as well. So, all in all, I do think England will just about edge this one.
Now that you've mentioned that we might concede one, Luke, what would you say the final score will be to England?
I'd say 3-1.
Right, so right, 3-1. What are your thoughts, Ross? Who's going to win, and what are the scores going to be?
Well, for me, Nicholas, I can only see one winner in. I think England's going to win. I think he's going to be a clean sheet for Jordan Pickford. 2 clean sheets in a row for Jordan Pickford for me, I think. And I think he's going to be 2-0 to England. I think England will just have too much for Wales. I know they've caused a few problems in some of the games, but I think England will have just too much for Wales this evening. And I'm going to say 2-0 to England. And I think it'll probably be Phil Foe, and I think it's going to be Harry Kane and Marcus Rashford who'll get the goals. And I think it'll be Harry Kane, and it will be Harry Kane's. If Harry Kane does score tonight, Nicholas, it'll be England. It'll be the moving to the all-time leading goal scorer for England, and it will also be his first goal against Wales. Mike Orneman is in the live chat, and he says England to win by 3-1. And he also says he's not surprised at all that Saka isn't playing. He says he's played so much football in recent weeks, and he reckons the break could do him good. He says plus in Arsenal's last few club games, he was playing with a knock as well, so that could be one of the reasons why Gareth Southgate has left Bukayo Saka on the bench this evening for England against Wales.
Yes, thank you, Ross. I'm not going to come over to you, Jack. Ross and Luke pick England. Ross and Luke pick England to win. Do you agree? And what do you think the scoreline's going to be?
Well, of course, I would absolutely love Wales win tonight, but they have been pretty poor this tournament. I thought in the first game they were poor. They picked it up in the second half, but they were lucky, I think, to go away with that a draw. That then showed in the second game. Players like Bale, players like Ramsey, I just feel like they haven't delivered in the tournament. They look like a different team, even from qualifying. And I think England just have too much quality in there for Wales to do anything about it. So I think England will come away with the win. I wouldn't write Wales off altogether. They do need to win themselves, so it might push them to play a bit more free-flowing, a bit more attacking than what they have been in the opening 2 games. But you look at England's quality from the starting lineup to the bench, I can only really see an England win, and I think they would win by about 3-0.
Right, thank you, Jack. We should also keep in mind that Wales need to win by 4 goals or more if they are to beat England and take the top of Group B. But I say that's a tall order as well, and Wales. I feel that Wales can only pray for a miracle. Whoever tops Group B will face Senegal, as mentioned in commentary by Russ earlier on today. Whilst the runners-up will be up against Group A winners, the Netherlands. And should England win Group B and their subsequent round of 16 match, they could face the likes of Argentina, Poland, or France in the quarterfinals. So lots to look for. So a lot to look ahead to. And another thing I have to, as I mentioned, for Wales, apart from praying for a miracle, they will just have to use everything but the kitchen sink to beat England. And what could be the advantage for England is that there are no yellow cards distributed in the current lineup. But as for Wales, only Joe Rodon has a yellow card, which he picked up in the game against Iran, and something else that I've got to mention. Danny Ward stepping in for the final few moments in the game against Iran. He has got to make the best impression he can in place of the suspended Wayne Hennessy. but Ross and Luke, what would you say is the standard that that Danny Ward has got to live up to?
Luke, you can take this one first this time, my friend.
Okay, no worries, Russ. I think that Danny Ward has a lot to live up to because I don't think he's as sure at the back as Hennessy is, because obviously Hennessy's a lot more experienced. He's been there in major tournaments before. I mean, you could arguably say that somebody of a player of his experience shouldn't have done what he did in the Iran game, but I just think that as well, Danny Ward is a bit more susceptible to conceding goals than Wayne Hennessy. And I don't know, I think Danny Ward will have some key moments in this game. And again, like I said earlier, Wales will concede tonight. But it'll just be hopefully not embarrassing with the way that the goals go in. Because there is actually a way to concede if you look at it from a Wales point of view.
Yes, and for me, Nicholas, I think Danny Ward is not really impressed at Leicester this season, unless they have been down at the bottom, and some of his goalkeeping issues have proven that's why they're down near the bottom this season. Leicester City, yes, I know they're slowly climbing up the table now, but their star was down to me and down to the defence when communicating properly. And I think he's got a lot of communication issues as Danny Ward, and I think that could be a real key part of England trying to test him early on, trying to test the defence early on, trying to test the communication skills. And if they get at each other, could put a game to England's hands and could win more than the 2-0 I've predicted. But I'm sticking with me 2-0. And Danny Ward, he's not good goalkeeper. He's not very good at shot stopping. He's not very good at crossing. So if we need to shoot on side, need to put a few crosses in, and we could possibly win this quite comfortably. But now I've just said all that, he'll probably save quite a few shots from long range and save crosses into the box because I'm not very good at predictions, Nicholas. And we'll probably win by more than 2 goals. But if you ever wanting to know what the score's going to be, don't ask me because I'm never usually right. But hopefully I'm right on this occasion, and England can get a 2-0 win and put anyone under immense sort of pressure, which he's going to be already under. I mean, to stay coming for this big game in which he needs to keep a clean sheet and where his Welsh side score 4 against England.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ross. We'll hope to hear from him around half time and around half time and around full time, but definitely later on in the coverage. The England players now. The England players now warming themselves up. Harry Maguire won his 50th cap against the USA, his 14th start for England at a major international tournament. From what I remember, he impressed. From what I remember, he did really well in the Euros last year. But Luke, so far he has been nowhere near impressive.
I think with Maguire in this tournament as a whole, so far he's not done a lot wrong. I mean, the last game really was passing it round at the back, and we didn't really go anywhere. The game before that, all right, we conceded 2 goals, but by that point we were winning fairly comfortably in the goals tally. So I mean, it's more his club form that's the problem, more than international form, and I think that's why Harry Maguire does still get picked. But also, you've got to think, if you're going to take Maguire out, who would you put in that's in this squad now that's any better?
If you're looking for someone with consistency and reliability, then obviously he's your man. So I may have been a bit too hard on him. But someone else we should look out for. But I think the 2 players we should look out for, in my view, are Marcus Rashford and Phil Foden. And Marcus Rashford, given that he scored that amazing goal he did against Iran, and also for Phil Foden, this is his chance to really establish himself. He had to miss the Euro. He had to miss the Euros last year due to injury. So is this the moment for him to really step up and assert himself on the international stage?
I'd say so. I mean, Phil Foden's got to come in and prove why there was so much clamour to get him on the field in the last game. Because if he comes out and doesn't perform very well, then there's going to be a lot of people that look incredibly stupid. But you know, you've got to think that Foden's going to seize his chance. Rashford on the other side as well has got a chance to prove why he's been selected, and ultimately take a bit of the pressure off Harry Kane up front.
Okay, the teams are now gathering around at the foot of the tunnel, and we are at the I'll just where we are in a moment. Do please bear with us. We are at the Ahmad bin Al Ali Stadium in Al Rayyan, and the players waiting for the signal to go out as we stop for that as we wait for that as we wait for them to go out. Now's the chance to go through our match officials this evening, starting with the referee. It's Slavko Vincic of Slovenia, and his assistant referees Tomas Klančík and Andres Kovacic, with Yoshimi Yamashita of Japan, the fourth official. So all to play for between England with the psychological advantage, having currently currently topping the table, I should say. Wales with it all to do, and there are plenty of Wales supporters inside the stadium. They're going to be full of voice, I am sure, and England. I'm sure there'll be plenty of fans there as well. The players now walking out of the tunnel and will be gathering on, and will shortly be gathering on the centre of the pitch for the national anthems. A crucial game for both England and Wales. England, a win or draw will automatically guarantee a place in the round of 16, kind of whatever happens. But for Wales, it's only mathematics. It's only mathematics that can save them, plus a victory. And we will shortly pause for the national anthems. Everyone just now getting ready. The fans getting ready to join the players and the management. The Welsh supporters declaring their support, and very soon we can now start to pause for the national anthem, starting with the national anthem of Wales.
national anthem of England.
والآن يرجى البقاء في حال الوقوف لعزف النشيد الوطني لإنجلترا.
And the roar of the crowd follows the national anthem sung by both England and Wales players, management and supporters. And now I can see the England fans looking to make a lot of noise as well. Although in terms of noise, I would say Wales would win on that one if there were points awarded for that. But that doesn't matter right now. And we can now go through the lineup for Wales. They're in a 4-2-3-1 formation with Ward in goal. Then the back four of Davis, Rodon, Mepham, and Williams. James, Allen, Ramsey, Ampadu, and Bale with in midfield with Moore, the lone striker. And Allen and Ampadu are actually flanking James, Ramsey, and Bale. I'm surprised they put Moore up front because it's normally Bale who's up front. We'll have the thoughts of Luke of that one in a moment or two. And already, as I mentioned, the match official Slavko Vincic, and the assistant fourth official is actually Karen Diaz of Mexico, who I thought we could see there, and also on VAR is Marco Fritz of Germany. His assistant is Paolo Vereri. Paul Sobchnicki of Poland at the offside VAR, and the SVAR is Bastian Dankpert. For England, it's the same formation as Wales with Pickford in goal. Then back four of Shaw, Maguire, Stones, and Walker, with Foden, Bellingham, and Rashford up front, with Rice and Henderson flanking him. Harry Kane is the lone striker, and Luke, are you surprised as I am that they've put Moore up front in place of Bale?
Not really, Nicholas, because Kiefer Moore tends to play up front for Bournemouth, and Bale has played a lot of times out on the wide left position, and usually it's Brennan Johnson that comes on for Gareth Bale. So I'm not too surprised that Kiefer Moore starts down the middle, but again, I think it's just utilising the fact that Bale's got a little bit more pace than Kiefer Moore as well.
Right, Phil Foden, his first World Cup start, looking to make a good impression out there tonight. It'll be Wales to kick us off, and Wales, they're wearing red and white. England are wearing white, blue, and white. The Wales socks are red, and the referee now wanting to make sure that everybody's in position, and everybody takes the knee as one in support for the ongoing fight against racism. Say no to racism, it says on the captain's armband, and we're off for this crucial game between Wales and England. And it looks like it's Wales with the early touch of the ball, and indeed it is a throw in early on to the Red Dragons, and it'll be Declan Rice to take the throw, which he does, but he's conceded to England, and the ball goes long to Harry Kane, but is picked up by Joe Rodon, and it's conceded another throw in to Wales. which they swiftly take. It's towards Aaron Ramsey, and I think that was picked up by Ben Davis. Indeed, it was. Ben Davis tries to get to the ball, but England proving very resilient. I think that was Bellingham with the ball, but it's now gone out for a throw in. I think it has. I just saw it go over the line, and that confirms it. Throw into Wales. Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey needs to start flanking his men a lot more. The ball's now with I think that might have been Foden with it, but it's been conceded back down towards Wales. And Chris Mepham passes to Danny Ward in goal. He forwards it to, I think that might have been Ramsey, but it's been intercepted by England. It's John Stones. He's under pressure from Kiefer Moore, but Stones does really well to hold on to the ball. Pass up front to, I think that might have been Rashford, and Rashford to Harry Maguire. Maguire now passing down wing, I should say, to Marcus Rashford. I think that was just a small pass off Bellingham. Back towards Bellingham now. I think that was through Stones. Now it's Harry Maguire. And Maguire now passing to Henderson. Back towards Maguire. And Maguire can only pass to Jordan Pickford in goal. England are playing from right to left. Wales left to right. And the ball is now with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw now passing to Maguire. Now it's Declan Rice, I'm sure of it. Rice back towards Maguire, and now Maguire passing to Shaw. Shaw now passing the ball to Jude Bellingham. After 2.5 minutes, it's Wales 0, England 0, as one might expect. But England look like they're going to start an attack early. It's Phil Foden. He passes back down to Declan Rice, I think that was. But now it's with Jordan Henderson. Henderson to Marcus Rashford, and Rashford did well to receive the ball off Luke Shaw. He's trying to go up front. Rashford tries to hold on to the ball, concedes it to Wales. A foul early on, but the referee says play on. And the ball is now, I think, with Jude Bellingham. Bellingham towards Shaw. And Shaw now passing to Harry Maguire. So England making an early threat with that attack, and the ball almost given to Wales, but quickly taken by Marcus Rashford. And Rashford now passes back towards Harry Maguire. England are doing really well in trying to set up an attack, and it looks like they're trying to make a break for it now. But they still have to get round a Wales defence. And Luke Shaw now passing it to Marcus Rashford. I did say Wales were going to try and throw everything but the kitchen sink at them, and it looks like they're trying to do so. But so far England just can't get through them. And as I say, that Declan Rice tried to hold on to the ball, and now it's with Harry Maguire passes back to Pickford. Now it's back with Maguire, and you have to say, Luke, that England are starting to perhaps find some options for attack as Maguire crosses forward to Rashford. We'll have Luke's thoughts in a moment or two, but it was conceded to Jude Bellingham, and I think the ball went over the line, and that could well be a throw. So England pressing forward early on. Could this be starting to worry Wales a bit?
I think they're getting a bit of play in sort of like 3/4 towards the Welsh box, but it's still a bit comfortable so far. They haven't really been testing the keeper or anything in his first 5 minutes. So I think the amount of possession might worry Wales, but again, Wales are having just as much possession as England. So I think it's been a fair start and proving to be a little bit more of a battle.
Certainly. Okay, so if it is proving to be a battle, I think the referee has stopped play for something. I couldn't quite see what it was. It might be just a slight foul, but if it was, if it was, there was no harm doing. So play still goes on, and it's now currently Wales with the ball. But it's been passed to Danny Ward in goal, and he clears out. He tries to clear the ball towards Kiefer Moore, towards Bale, but England quickly take it back, and the ball has now been passed to Jude Bellingham. Bellingham to Rashford. Rashford now passes to Declan Rice. Now the ball is with I think Jordan Henderson. Henderson now to Declan Rice. I think that was. Now the ball's gone back down to Harry Maguire just over the centre line. Now the ball is with Luke Shaw. Wales holding out really well against England, and Maguire's still keeping pace. Now the ball is with Rashford, and Rashford loses the ball now to Wales, and a foul straight away, and a foul on Aaron Ramsey. But the referees are wanting to make sure that no time is being wasted as Wales take the free kick, and the ball is now with Nico Williams. Nico Williams has to watch out for Rashford. Does well to pass it to Ethan Ampadu. And as we approach 7 minutes, it's still Wales 0, England 0. A shout for and I think somebody might have been offside. Just going to take another look at that. I think that came off Daniel James, but I'm not. That came off Daniel James, but I'm not too sure. As Wales still managing to keep control of the ball. It's now being crossed forward to I think that might have been James, but Bussy was too far. Bussy was too far behind, and the ball is now still ending up with Jordan Pickford in goal. I'm now going to check it. I'm now going to check it on the US. I'm not going to check in, or should I say, get back to it. It's still Wales in charge of the ball, but it's been headed back to England. I think Wales are starting. I think Wales could be pressing. Could be starting to press for an attack here. It's now Nico Williams to I think that was Joe Allen. Yes, indeed it was. Now it's with Kiefer Moore, and Kiefer Moore crossing to I think that was James, but it goes up. But it goes up. But it goes over the line, and that'll give a throw in to England. So 8.5 minutes in, England and Wales are still deadlocked at 0-0 each. And we're now going to for a moment we're now going to check in on how things are progressing at Iran against USA. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, we're 6 minutes into the game at the Al Thumama Stadium, and it is still Iran 0, USA 0. Very evenly poised match so far. Iran looking slightly the more dangerous in attack. They had a good opportunity there when Raisian got the ball into the box.
Have to stop you there for a moment, Jack, because England looked like they were on the attack, and that was kept out swiftly by the Wales defence. So we'll get more from Jack Hesson when we can. So Maguire crossing to Luke Shaw. Now it's with I think that might have been with Rashford. Now back down towards Bellingham. It's still with England through Declan Rice. Now it's Henderson to Kyle Walker, doing well to receive a startup call, having been on the subs bench for the past 2 games. And now it's with Harry Maguire. We're approaching 10 minutes now. It's Luke Shaw with the ball for England, and was almost passed through to Harry Kane. But all I can say, Luke, that was a very good attack. That was but England look like they're going to be on the attack again. I think that might have been Kane, and it's now with it was sent through to the 18-yard box, but cleared away by the Wales defence. And I have to say, Luke, that England are starting to become more attacking.
Yeah, I think with the first chance, Rashford just needed to put his foot through it first time to try and take a touch around Danny Ward. And that one, I think the ball was just a bit too far behind the on-rushing players into the box. But we're we're starting to probe into the box a bit more, so I think a goal is incoming soon. I hope I don't curse it.
A goal could so a goal could well be inevitable as we approach as we now enter the 11th minute. It's still Wales 0, England 0, and we can now cross over back to Jack to what he was going to originally finish with Iran against USA.
Yeah, sorry, but I was just mentioning the fact that there was an opportunity for Iran from Razim Razian. He got the ball into the box, but nobody was there. And just about a minute ago, USA had a good opportunity in the first shot on goal by Yunus Musa at the edge of the box, but it was skied over the bar, pretty much went out for a field goal. But still 0-0 at the moment. Iran 0, USA 0. However, I'm expecting some goals at some point in this game.
Yes, so equally just as close between Iran and the USA at the moment. It's Henderson to I think that was Rice. Now it's been passed back to Pickford in goal. Pickford trying to clear it, but headed by Joe Rodon. Remember he is on a yellow card. So if he's fouled, he is set. So if he's fouled and Wales go through, they will miss the next round of six. They will miss their round of 16 match. And I think Wales looked like they were trying to cross the ball to Bale, but Bale was nowhere near. Walker now passing to Pickford, and Pickford passes the ball back out to Harry Maguire. So Maguire now passing to Walker. Kyle, or should that be Rice? Yes, it is Declan Rice. Declan Rice now needs to find someone to pass to up front. He's found Kyle Walker, and Walker now to I think that was Henderson. Now back towards Walker, and Walker crossing down the field to Luke Shaw, and Luke Shaw couldn't get through. Couldn't get through Nico Williams, and the referee has blown his whistle for something. I think the ball might have bounced off Williams' backside just now, but this is the replay of what's happened. And Marcus Rashford, like you said, Luke, just didn't have the opportunity to get his foot in.
Yes, and that's why we struggled to capitalise on that chance. I don't want the 0-0 button, Mike. You can keep it, thank you.
Okay, free kick to England now, and it will be I think Harry Kane. And just as I talked to you, I was wrong in what the captain's armband should say. It said protect the children. If anyone actually knows what was on the armband, then do please let me know. And I think it will be Luke Shaw to take the free kick. Indeed, it is. Could this be the opportunity for England to open the score? The answer is no. As Phil Foden goes for a long ranger, but it scrapes the net. England couldn't take advantage of their earlier free kick, but how unlucky was Phil Foden to miss that one by several yards?
I think the trouble with Phil Foden's shot there, Nick, was he was going for the near post, and really you should be aiming for more of the goal. And there really wasn't much on from that angle at the near post. He really should have gone and tried going across the keeper a bit more there.
Succinctly observed by Luke Turton. We're now just over 14 and a half minutes in. It's still Wales 0, England 0. And you're listening to the Commentary Hub with me, Nicholas Jones, and Luke Turton. We'll have updates from Jack Hesson on Iran against the USA as and when we get them. But the ball is now still with England. It's Luke Shaw passing to Rashford. Now it's with Jude Bellingham, and Bellingham does a good job to cross up front to Phil Foden. Foden now passing to I think that was Henderson, but it was blocked by Wales, and it's a throw in given to England. So a good setup by Shaw. The throw-in taken by England. England just about entered the 18-yard box, almost deflected away by Ben Davis, and the ball still remains with England, and the ball has now been passed back down to Harry Maguire. It's now with Luke Shaw. Shaw can only pass back to Maguire, who's just over the who is just over the centre line, or is that? And he's now managed to pass to, I think that's Kyle Walker. Walker back down to Maguire. England, not surprisingly, have the most possession, 72% in fact. Wales have only 21%, but Marcus Rashford couldn't get to the ball in time. He was just so close. And now a foul on, I think that's Harry Kane. We'll check who it is in a moment. And indeed, it was Harry Kane, and that was by Chris Mepham. How do you see this, Luke?
It was just a silly foul. I mean, I think they're trying to stop Kane getting into the box. So, dead certain foul, and we'll see what comes from this free kick, Nick.
Chris Mepham lucky to get away with that, and that has conceded a free kick, another free kick to England, as Luke put it. The free kick seems to be a bit closer than it was. Last time. Gareth Bale making up the defensive wall. Henderson, Foden, Rice, and I think Stones are having a bit of a discussion as to who will take the ball. We'll let you know. We'll find out who it is in a moment or two. It looks like it'll be Declan Rice, who is. It looks like it'll be Declan Rice. He seems to be the one aiming more. He seems to be the one with the ideal aim. For Wales, they need to hold England off as much as they can. To ensure that both get a point. But for England, a point will do. But for England, either way, a point will be enough to see them into the round of 16. So free kick taken, and a pretty complicated one at that. But it sent the ball into the 18-yard box. But whatever tactics England were going to use, they didn't work. And Harry Maguire clearly furious about the ball. About the ball going the wrong way. I think he might well have been impeded, and indeed he was, and that was by Ethan Ampadu.
I think he wanted the corner, Nick, and he didn't get the corner from. He wanted to before that Ampadu might have flicked it behind, but I think Maguire did end up getting the last touch. The goal kick was the right decision, in my opinion.
Yes, So Maguire's got nothing to complain about as we now tick towards the 19th minutes. It's still Wales 0, England 0. You're listening to the Commentary Hub with Nicholas Jones and Luke Turton. We're also on the Commentary Hub too, JB Sports, Storm FM, and we are also on our Twitch channel as Ward tries to send the ball to Nico Williams, but intercepted very well by England, who only give it back to Wales. Now it's back in England hands, and the ball is now with I think Declan Rice. No, it is actually with Declan Rice. I think that might have been Maguire who had the ball last. But Shaw, Rice now back to Harry Maguire. Although he had to be careful that Ramsey didn't get the ball off him. And the ball is now with John Stones. Yes, it is John Stones. Stones now passing back to Pickford. Now Pickford has found Declan Rice. Back to Stones. Over again now to Rice. But he can only pass again back to Pickford. Ramsey looking very menacing as Pickford clears the ball towards, I think that was Luke Shaw, but headed by one of the Wales defenders. Now it's with Joe Allen, but picked up again by England. Can they get through to Rashford? Rashford couldn't get to it in time. But Wales look like they're going to try and make a break for it as Kyle Walker tried to hold on to the ball, but he was fouled by Kiefer Moore. How do you call this?
Yeah, again, I think that was another silly foul for Kiefer Moore. But England need to get better at retaining the ball up the field and stop just passing the ball straight back to Wales when Wales gift it to them. It's like a bit of ping pong.
Yes, indeed, and that has conceded a free kick, and that has conceded a free kick to England to be taken by Stones. As things stand right now, England still top. England will still top Group B, but it will be just on points alone. As Kyle Walker now has the ball. He's passed down to I think that's Maguire. Now the ball is with Luke Shaw. Shaw now to Maguire, back to Shaw again, and it's now back with Maguire. Bellingham to Luke Shaw, and Shaw now crossing up front to Harry Kane, who just about or is that Henderson? No, it was Henderson. Henderson back towards Kyle Walker. Now Declan Rice. That looks more like the England we know, and it's now been passed again to Kyle Walker, clipped away by Chris Mepham. But for Jordan Henderson, that was a very clumsy miss in my view, and it's given the throw in now to England. And the ball is now still firmly with the Three Lions, though not for long. And Henderson has been and that was a poor challenge by Davis on Henderson. And but what's your opinion on this one? Was it a bit more forceful this time? But it's given a corner to England. We'll have Luke's thoughts of it in a moment or two, or is it a lot, or is it going to be a free kick in towards goal? I thought it was going to be a corner, but it's actually going to be a far off free kick. Both arms are raised. The ball goes in towards the goal area, and Maguire just misses it, but it's easy. But it's been picked up again by Marcus Rashford, and Rashford headed clear by the Wales defenders, and in fact, someone's down on the ground. It's Nico Williams. He appears to have hurt himself, and I think the violent deflection of the ball by his head is what caused him to go down. How do you see that, Luke?
Yeah, Nico Williams just fully blocked a powerful shot from Marcus Rashford and basically got took out. I mean, it had to be Nico Williams, didn't it? Of all the Welsh players on the field, Nico Williams is, again, the man down on the deck. So, I mean, if we get Nico Williams back at Forest unscathed after this World Cup, it'll be a miracle.
Certainly looks like it, and but all the same, he did really well to block the setup by Marcus Rashford. But had he not been there, this could have well given England the chance to open the scoring. And whilst the physios attend to Nico Williams, what's the latest? Have there been any new chances for Iran or the USA, Jack Hassan?
Yeah, we are 22 minutes played here. Still Iran 0, USA 0. USA have had the best opportunity of the game so far with Sergio Dest playing a low driven cross across the box. Timo Weah couldn't get on the end of it, and it fell to Alireza Barandvan in goals, who managed to parry it away. How USA need to be careful and start making their dominance count. They were almost undone by a long ball up towards Mehdi Taremi, brought down well, but well recovered by the centre-half, Tim Ream. So it has been all USA so far, but Iran looking dangerous whenever they're going forward. 22 minutes played here. Iran 0, USA 0.
England back underway, and I'm glad to say that Nico Williams has recovered, and he is able to carry on playing. It's still with the ball is now with Foden. to Kane. Now back towards Foden, and I think the ball is now with Bellingham and a clumsy challenge on Ramsey, but England still have the ball. It's now with Maguire. Maguire to Luke Shaw. Now he's passed to Rashford. Rashford collides with Mepham, and that concedes the ball to Nico Williams. Credit to him for getting back into the thick of it after his foul, but I think after what happened to him, but I think that's but I think the ball was kneed up into his chest, so hopefully this isn't a recurring problem for him. But it's given a throw in it's conceded a throw in to England. And as I talk to you right now, England still top Group B, but as Jack said, the USA have to be careful and start attacking more because Iran are currently in that second place, and but right now England look like they were pressing towards an attack, but well held by Ben Davies. It's well held by Ben Davies, but challenged by Phil Foden, and you have all I can say right now, after 27 minutes, it's still Wales 0, England 0, and but it could only go as far as a war goal kick. England tries to take the ball back, but it's still with Wales, but cleared out of play though. Cleared out of play though by Phil Foden, and once again it's a throw into Wales. Wales looking to retake the throw, which they do. And it was almost thrown to Kiefer Moore, but it was conceded by England, and now it'll be another Wales throw, and Wales have now retaken the throw through Kiefer Moore. Moore now with the ball. Could there be a surprise at hand? The answer is no, as England now have retaken the ball through. I think that was Shaw, but well tackled by Williams for Wales, and Henderson gets into a bit of a scrape with them, and again it's Nico Williams who's on the ground. The referee sensibly stops play, but Williams still appears to be okay. How rough was the challenge by Jordan Henderson?
It was ridiculous. I mean, he could have just tried to do a different tackle, but he threw himself on top of Nico Williams. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I think they value Nico Williams as being a threat down that side. John Stones goes down.
Thanks for pointing that one out. Luke. And he's clutching his right foot by the looks of it. So he might have gotten a knock to his ankle or something. And that was by Dan James. And Dan James straight into the book. He doesn't show much body language by way of complaints. And I have to say that yellow card was well and truly deserved.
I have to admit, Nicholas, I'm watching this game, and Dan James has done nothing to me to say he should have started ahead of Johnson.
Yeah, so should have included Brennan Johnson. Will Rob Page later regret that decision? We shall see. As it's now Kyle Walker with the ball, and he's passed down to Declan Rice. It's Rice crossing forward to I think that was Henderson, but headed away by Wales. That was off James, and now it's with Ethan Ampadu, but almost headed away though by England, and the ball still remains in play. It's Jordan Henderson passing around to Phil Foden. Now back to Henderson, cut away though by Wales, but conceded. Back down to England. It's Harry Maguire. Now with the ball. He passes over to Luke Shaw. And Luke Shaw passes up to, I think that's Jude Bellingham. Yes, indeed, it was Bellingham. But play still goes on. It's Rice. Now passing up front to, I think that's Phil Foden. Yes, indeed, it is Foden. Foden back down to Kyle Walker. Now back towards Rice. He has to hold off more. He does. Walker to Foden under pressure from Joe Rodon. Now back to Kyle Walker. Maguire to Maguire. Rice, should I say? Now it's with Maguire. Harry Maguire enters the 6-yard box. Tries to go for a shot, but as I say that he should have tried to set up Phil Foden, and he didn't do that.
I mean, I think it was a shot cross kind of combination with which it just basically hit the out into touch more than anywhere near either Foden or the goal. I mean, it was totally misdirected.
So if England keep making poor deliveries like that, they won't they won't get a goal that will put them in front. But as I say, that a goal won't matter to them. If they draw, they will still go through. But that depends on what Iran and the USA will do. But if England do win and go through to the round of 16, remember they will face Argentina, Poland, or France in the quarterfinals. So they will likely face they will likely face Senegal in the next round should they win. It's now with Luke Shaw. Shaw passing back down to Maguire. Now it's with Jordan Pickford. We're approaching around 32 and a half minutes on the commentary hub. It's still Wales 0, England 0, and what looks to be Rice now passing to Bellingham. Now it's with Harry Maguire. Maguire now to Luke Shaw. And Shaw now passes to Marcus Rashford. Rashford tries to pass back to Shaw, but given away to Chris Mepham. Now it's Allen. Ramsey almost picked up by Ampadu, but straight back to England. And it's now with Foden. Foden to Jordan Henderson by the looks of it. Now it's with Kyle Walker at the far back, but headed clear by Chris Mepham, and it goes over the line. And I have to say, Luke, just as I think that England tried to find a way up front, but hold on, we've got a player down. It's somebody from Wales, and surprise, it's Nico Williams. Why is he continuing to be roughed up all the time?
I think they just know that Nico Williams is a dangerous prospect on that side. I mean, he's going to come off, but that's not a bad thing even from our point of view, because at least it gives him time to get fit for probably the return of the league football. By the looks of it, I can't see Wales making it through. Favourite to the last words, but you know. But as for England, though,
yeah, go on.
It's the head. I was going to say, as for England, they struggle to really score at the minute because the balls going into the box are overplayed or they're not played in well enough. And it's just that final ball, final touch that's lacking. Because the build-up play is brilliant around the box. It's just as they get towards the box, we just can't break through the Welsh defence.
Just saw a shot of what looks to be Connor Roberts. Warming himself up. He could come on as a substitute as a Williams takes a drink. Needed to get his energy flowing again, and it looks like it'll be a free kick to England as the Welsh physios, and now communicating with the match officials by radio, and very soon it looks like it will indeed be Connor Roberts that will be coming on Wales. England are about to take the throw, and for Nico Williams, the look on his face tells me that he's had enough. He needs to come off, but that's doing nothing to stop the Welsh enthusiasm as they're cheering on they're cheering on their team. And I can indeed confirm that Nico Williams will be going off in place of Connor Roberts. As Luke says, that's not a great loss. As Williams obviously needs to get back into training for the league season resumption, as England take the throw, but it's been cleared away by Davis, and I think Moore has been brought down inside the box. We'll check to see who it is in a moment, and it was indeed Moore. I think he collided with his teammate Ben Davis, Luke.
So Wales get a free kick for basically two of their own players colliding with each other. That's just brilliant.
A free kick inside goal, if you want to call it that, as we're just over 36 and a half minutes. It's still Wales 0, England 0, and Wales, as I say, almost on the attack, but the referee's saying play on after their attacker was halted. It's now Phil Foden for England, and Foden now passing to, I think that was Rashford. It's now with back towards Bellingham and Rashford. It's now been picked up again by Foden, and it's just over the crossbar. That was close. That was even closer to the opening goal for Foden than what we saw early. On. To me, he's got the right idea. He just needs his aims just need to be a bit more accurate, Luke.
I think he got under the ball as he hit it. I think he was aiming for the top corner, but he just got too much underneath it, which means that it was never going to go in the corner and was always going to go over the bar. But good link-up play, and we're getting into more dangerous areas. We just need to keep pushing it, this Welsh defence, and eventually we will score.
But it looked like Wales were going to try and set some attack, and it looks like indeed they are, with Ethan Ampadu to Aaron Ramsey, and Ramsey now trying to pass to Joe Allen, but well blocked by Harry Maguire, and it's now Marcus Rashford on the offensive for England. He needs to get round the defenders. He tries to do so, but he can only pass to Declan Rice, and now it's with John Stones. Now the ball is being passed around to Phil Foden, and Foden tries to find Kane, but Kane has to back out of it. It's Rashford, and the bicycle kick by Rashford doesn't go the way he wanted. That was almost the perfect opening goal for England, but it goes the wrong way.
Very ambitious from Marcus Rashford, but I just don't think he was at the right angle to really put that in from that angle with that type of shot, unfortunately.
No, certainly not. And so as we now enter the 39th minute, and as we now enter the 39th minute, it's still Wales 0, England 0, and England still doing enough to top the group, to top Group B, even if they still pick up the draw. But as I talk to you right now, England are pressing forward on the attack. It's Rashford, but cut away by Connor Roberts, and his inclusion on the subs bench, and his inclusion into the team from the subs bench was a good one, methinks. He defended that position, he defended that attack from Rashford very well indeed, and it's now a corner to England as we now enter the 40th minute. England need to make this advantage count with the corner. So the referee now trying to direct the players trying to direct the players into position. It's Foden that will take the corner, and Foden now crossing to Foden tried to cross, but he was blocked by Wales, and the ball has once again gone out of play. But I've received information that the USA have gone out in front. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, we are 38 minutes on the clock, and it is Iran 0, USA 1, and it's the Chelsea man, Christian Pulisic, with the goal. Lovely play from the back, starting from the back for the USA. They get the ball into the box. Weston McKennie, excellent cross pass to Sergio Dest. Sergio Dest heads it across the goal even, and Christian Pulisic is there for a tap-in. He took a sore one as he put that into the back of the net, and he is down at the moment, so some concern for the USA in regards to that. But they are 1-0 up against Iran, 39 minutes played, and that certainly complicates the group.
It certainly does, as it now puts the USA into second place in Group B. England still in front though, but they still have a shot. But England still have a chance to still have all the chances in the world to get themselves in front. Iran now dropped to third. Wales rock bottom in fourth, and that does not do their prospects any good whatsoever. It's Stones now passing to Harry Maguire. Now Maguire passing back to I think that's Declan Rice. Now it's with Kyle Walker back towards John Stones. I should say, yes, indeed, it is Stones. And Stones now crosses downwind to Harry Maguire. We're just about approaching 42 and a half minutes. It's still Wales 0, England 0, and Phil Foden and Phil Foden on the ball. Phil Foden on the ball. He got that completely crossed up this time, Luke.
Yeah, I think the ball had too much on it from Maguire, and he just basically stretched, try and put it across into the box, but just failed to. Well, just wasn't quick enough to get there. So in the end, it came off the end of his foot and straight out of play.
Ball cleared out of goal by Danny Ward, but it's been picked up again by England through Jordan Henderson, and Jordan Henderson loses the ball to Aaron Ramsey, but referee Vincic, calls a stop to play to try and stop the situation. Now play now resumes, and it's Bellingham with the ball to Stones. Now it's with Rice, Kyle Walker to Henderson. Now back towards Walker. Walker now passing the ball to Harry Kane. Now it's with Stones and a cross down to Luke Shaw, and Shaw now passing to Jude Bellingham, I should say. Bellingham back to Shaw. Shaw does really well to hold on to the ball, but passes to Maguire. Now it's Marcus Rashford, and Rashford now passes again to Jude Bellingham. The ball's still in the 18-yard box. Cut away though by Connor Roberts. Great defending by the substitute, Luke.
Yeah, he had to get there because of why Bellingham would have been able to put the ball across into a dangerous area. But again, we're pressing forward a bit more. We're trying to probe in that area, but we need to see if we can get the final touch off.
Corner taken by Foden, but deflected away by Wales. England look like they're on for another attack, but Wales still doing well to hold them off. But it's England still in play with the ball through Kyle Walker. Now it's with Harry Maguire back towards Kyle Walker, and Walker now passing down to I think that's John Stones, yes, and Stones to Luke Shaw as we approach the 45th minute. I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least 5 if we get at least 3 to 5 minutes added on. I'd be surprised if we get more than that. And yes, indeed, we have 5 minutes added on for stoppage time, and that is likely because of what's happened to Nico Williams. we wish him all the best in his recovery as he prepares to return to a league action. But the ball's still with England, almost picked up by Gareth Bale by the looks of it. It's now with Luke Shaw, and he's now passed straight to Harry Kane. Kane now to Marcus Rashford, but given it back to Wales, and now it's with Allen. Allen to Dan James, who's fouled by Kyle Walker, and that looked painful on James's part.
Yeah, but again, I think Kyle Walker's got the pace to keep up with Dan James, so he didn't really need to do that, to be honest.
No, it certainly looked like he didn't, and it's Chris Mepham now to Connor Roberts. Roberts has to cross back towards Ben Davis. It's Davis now, the Tottenham man, or was it? No, it wasn't Davis. It was Joe Rodon. It was Joe Rodon, and Rodon now passing to Danny Ward. But Ward does really well to clear the ball out. Headed by Kyle Walker. But it's conceded back to Wales. A minute and a half into stoppage time. It's Wales 0, England 0, and the ball has now been passed back to Ward in goal. But now it's headed by Walker to Joe Allen, and it's Joe Allen now with the ball for Wales. But intercepted by England, and it's Harry Kane. Kane passing now to Bellingham. He passes down to Luke Shaw, and the ball's still in the 18-yard box. But that was a poorly timed pass by Shaw, and it's now Harry Maguire coming through to Luke Shaw, and now Harry Kane. Kane has to find an opening, and he shoots just wide. That wasn't going to go in by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that might have been because he was impeded. That was a good That was a good tackle. That was a good block and deflection by Chris Mepham.
Yeah, I think the shot from Kane was probably more to try and win a corner than to actually go in, because he was aware that it wasn't going to go anywhere. But again, we're having all the chances. We just need to see if we can get any on target.
Corner taken by Foden. Could this be the chance for England to open the score? And it almost is! Saved at the last moment by Danny Ward. And that is the closest that England have come to scoring, but Ward was there right when he needed to. And speaking of huge chances, there's also been a huge chance in the USA-Iran game. Jack Hesson.
Oh, it was a absolutely golden opportunity for the USA there. Iran pushing players forward now to try and get back into this game. They get caught on the break, and the USA have them 3 versus 2. Christian Pulisic on the left-hand side. Josh Sargent just needs to find him to get Pulisic a one-on-one, and he opts for Timo Weah on the right. Was a more congested area, and ultimately try and get it back across to Pulisic, and the chance has gone away. So that one come back to hurt the USA with 46 minutes played, 5 minutes of added time, and it's still Iran 0, USA 1.
We'll have more updates from Iran USA as and when we can, as Rashford is cut away by Conor Gallagher, and Gallagher giving him a bit of a shove. That was rude. But Wales do have the throw-ins, so that changes nothing. Or does it? And the referee now coming over to talk to Connor Roberts and Marcus Rashford. But whatever that dispute was, it certainly diffused as we now enter the last 35 seconds, I should say, of the first half. Throw-in taken by Roberts, passing to Mepham. Now it's Joe Allen, and Allen tries to go for a shot, but it's way over the crossbar, and that is the closest Wales have come to scoring, at least. But Joe Allen, he got that completely wrong.
Yeah, nice try from Joe Allen, but it's going to have to be a bit lower to trouble Jordan Pickford, I'm afraid.
Yes, it certainly is, and it looks to me as though half-time is mere seconds away, and indeed the whistle has gone for half-time. England and Wales did come out of the sides with come out of this with both very clear aims, but equal chances between the two of them. But in the end, it's all come down to nothing so far. Will that change in the second half? Halftime score at the Al Bayt Stadium. In Wales 0, England 0, and Luke Turton, your thoughts. Your thoughts on the game. Your thoughts on the game as we now enter half time.
I think that England have had the more clear-cut chances, if you can call them clear-cut chances. We've been a lot of huffing and puffing around the box, but to be honest, we've not really troubled Danny Ward too much. Wales are basically just giving us the ball because we just keep pressing them into making a few mistakes, but never really in crucial areas. The ball retention from both sides has been a bit poor. Obviously, Joe Allen had that chance towards the end, but again, I think there's a lot of improving to do in the final thirds. Defensively, neither side looked that troubled when it comes to that last ball. But yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting, good game to be following so far, and just hope there's some goals in the second half.
Yes, we certainly shall hope so. We're going to hear from Jack in a moment or two about his halftime take on the USA-Iran game. But in terms of the Group B table, England still top Group B on 5 points. The USA have moved up to second. They're also on 5, though England still lead by goal difference. Iran now dropped to third. They're going to look for more. They're going to see if they can try and attack more in the second half. And Wales still on rock bottom with 2 points. They need to win by 4 goals or more to beat England and even stand a remote chance of making it through to the round of 16. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And Jack Hesson, your halftime thoughts on Iran against the USA?
Yeah, it's half time at the Al Stadium, and it is Iran 0, USA 1 so far. Iran have got their game plan absolutely wrong in the first half. They were sitting off the USA, allowing the USA to put pressure on them, and it eventually did break for them with a goal by Christian Pulisic, header across by Sergio Dest to Pulisic, who put his body in the line to get the ball in the back of the net. Took a bit of a hutting when he'd done that, but is back up on his feet now as well. Iran need to come out in the second half now. Losing is not enough to get them through, and they need to change their game plan, really, if they are to stand a chance in the second half.
Thank you for the time being to Jack, and also also to Luke. We're going to take a bit of a short break, but we'll be right back before the start of the second half. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to the Commentary Hub's coverage of Wales against England in this crucial Group B match that could well decide the fate of the round of 16. And it's Bale making a halftime substitution for Brennan Johnson. So this could Johnson could well Johnson could well give the impetus that Wales need to at least bring something out of this game. Don't forget, we will still have updates from Iran against the USA as and when we can get them. It'll be England to kick us off, and away we go for the start. And away we go then for the start of the second half between England and between Wales and England. And straight away it's what looks to be Harry Maguire passing down to I think that's Luke Shaw. Yes, indeed, it is Luke Shaw. Back to Pickford now again with Luke Shaw. And Shaw now back to Maguire. But straight now to Marcus Rashford and Bale on the subs bench now of course. It's Marcus Rashford now to Harry Kane. Hey, Kane now passing to Rashford, but he concedes to Joe Rodon. And that was a pretty clumsy move by Rashford, but England are still hungry for it. It's what looks to be Bellingham passing now to Declan Rice. Now back to Jude Bellingham. Bellingham now passes to John Stones. Now Harry Maguire, and Maguire now crossing the ball forward to what looks to be Declan Rice, but tackled by Wales. The ball now passes down to Ben Davies, but Davies crosses to keep him, although he's under pressure from Kyle Walker. And he passes now to Aaron Ramsey, and Ramsey trying to cross forward to Brennan Johnson. But Luke Shaw was brought down just before entering the 18-yard box, and that was by Johnson. Johnson really didn't need to do that, did he, Luke?
No, that was a bit naive from Brennan there. He needed to just stay on his feet and see if the ball dropped over Luke Shaw. And just like pressure him, don't shove him over. I think there's a lot of teams in this World Cup where players are putting pushes in when really they just need to stay with them and see if they can make the defender make a mistake. I mean, I like the fact that Johnson's come on for Bale though, because Bale's been anonymous again for the third game running. So we'll just have to see if England can get a bit more of an impetus in the second half, because so far,
And the ball's now being crossed towards Marcus Rashford, but he has to concede to Luke Shaw, and now it's with Jordan Henderson. Rashford back towards Shaw, and Shaw now passing down to John Stones. Stones now passing again to up the wing, I should say, to Harry Maguire, and Maguire now to Henderson, passing now to Foden, and Foden now trying to make a break for it. Is he going to get inside the 18-yard box? No, he isn't. And the referee calling place or holes, and Foden Foden clutching his foot. He was definitely the meat in the sandwich between Roberts and Ramsey, although I think Rodon was involved. How do you sum this one up?
I mean, it was a bit delayed from the referee giving that free kick, because I thought at one point he wasn't going to give it at all, but I think Foden was carrying the ball forward and he basically just got fouled by one of the three Welsh players. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't particularly matter which one. One of them in the red shirt committed a foul. And let's hope this time the execution of this free kick is slightly better than the one we had in a similar position down the other end in the first half.
Yes. Let's hope it is. As England prepare to take the free kick, as it looks like it will either be Shaw, Rashford, or Henderson that will be that will be the man to take the free kick as we now enter the 49th minute. It looks like it will be Rashford, judging by how far he stepped back from the ball. Will it be Rashford? It indeed is Rashford, and straight in there! England take the lead at last! There were a few opportunities coming for England, but Rashford was quick to capitalise, and he well and truly gets the applause and congratulations from the fans and his teammates. Marcus Rashford just timed that free kick to perfection, and in it went.
That's kind of what I was talking about with the getting the free kick right. You have to get free kicks on target to stand a chance of scoring, and Rashford just got the right amount of curl, the right amount of bend, just to get it straight over the wall and straight in the corner. I mean, Danny Ward stood no chance of saving that free kick. Brilliant from Marcus Rashford, and it now will bring Wales out a bit to try and get a few more goals.
Okay, and I'm just hearing that Christian Pulisic of the USA has been injured. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, Pulisic has not came out for the second half. We have just kicked off the second half still with 1-0 USA. When I mentioned how he took a massive body blow from the goalkeeper when he threw himself at the ball to get the goal, he was struggling to get back up. He was needing help from the physios to get back up initially. He did come back onto the park for the rest of the half, but something they must have assessed it at halftime and deemed it to play the second half. He has been replaced by Brendan.
Hold it, Jack. England now have their second goal. It's through Phil Foden and scoring on his World Cup debut, no less. What a clinical finish by Foden. That was superbly timed, and the England fans go berserk within a matter of a few seconds. England only go and double their lead, and what an amazing result this will be for Phil Foden.
I have to admit, when that ball went out to Harry Kane, I thought if he gets this ball right, then there'll be at least one of two to go on the ball. It's pressured by Rashford. Kane gets the ball, puts it across the box, and Foden just taps it straight in. I mean, there's not much more you could have asked for from the start to the second half from England. They've finally stepped up a gear. Kane's play that ball was brilliant across the 6-yard box, and somebody gambled on it. Foden gambled on it, and he scored. Wales weren't happy, but
yes, indeed.
That's what happens.
Yes, indeed. He certainly did. And Wales are now very much on the back foot. It's Kiefer Moore now with the ball for Wales, straight to Ethan Ampadu, but cut away by England. And it's now with Rashford straight down to I think that was Declan Rice, but Kane it's Kane that actually went down, and that was I think by Ramsey, who now takes the captain's armband from Gareth Bale, and a very clumsy challenge by Ramsey.
Well, I'm glad Ramsey committed the foul because I wasn't sure whether he's actually still on the field, to be honest, Nick.
Yes, if that is your point. Sorry, and we're sorry to interrupt you earlier, Jack. But what's your final summary on the Christian Pulisic injury and how vulnerable are the USA after that?
Oh, not a problem. Yeah, it's a big blow for them. He's a massive player. Iran are going to need to come out in the second half and push to try and get the goal and get at least a draw from this game at this rate. But they're not looking likely even starting this second half. It has still been all USA. So the most likely outcome at the moment is USA getting another goal, but plenty of time to play. It's still Iran. USA won, 50 minutes played.
Thank you, Jack. We'll have more updates from Iran against the USA as and when we can, but it's still Wales in possession with the ball as we approach the 54th minute. It's still Wales 0, England 2, and and England now have to start, and England now need to start piling, and England now need to start putting Wales under a bit more pressure. A third goal would suffice, but Wales now on the attack, and it's with Dan, and the ball is with Dan James. That was almost a setup in the 18-yard box, almost deflected away by Jordan Pickford. Are Wales starting to find their form? And if they have, is it too late for them, Luke?
I think Wales will give it a go, but at the end of the day, we've now got 2 goals up. Sorry, so they'd have to score at least 2 to get level, and then they needed 4 before kickoff. So they're going to need to score 6 to stand any chance of qualifying.
That wasn't entirely what I meant, but okay, we move on as Marcus Rashford has now picked up the ball for England, but tackled by Ben Davies. It's now with Ethan Ampadu straight now to Kiefer Moore, and Kiefer Moore going for a long range shot, deflected away again by Pickford. He had it. He put his hands out when he needed. He put his hands out when he needed to, and pow! Away it went.
Yeah, it was nearly a deflection off Harry Maguire's head that took it past Jordan Pickford more than the Kiefer Moore shot there, Nick.
Okay, so we now have a corner for Wales. Well pointed out, just as well. Pickford was there to spare Maguire splashes, but Wales now going for another attack. Straight into the 18-yard box, deflected away by Maguire. But Wales still hungry for it. The ball is now with Connor Roberts. But it only goes back into the arms of Jordan Pickford. But that changes nothing. As we now enter the 56th minute, it's still Wales 0, England 2. And you're listening to the Commentary Hub with Nicholas Jones and Luke Turton. And a couple of the England substitutes are now preparing to warm themselves up. That looked like Callum Wilson being one of them. Calvin Phillips looked like he was going to come on as well. We'll let you know who comes on as and when they do. But an England player has been found. It's Phil Foden, but he's swiftly back up on his feet, so no real harm done. And just as I talk to you, Kyle Walker is going to be replaced by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and also coming off a Kane and Rice. So onto the pitch will come Calvin Phillips and Trent Alexander-Arnold and also Callum Wilson. So 3 out of 5 substitutions. So 3 out of 5 substitutions being made. Has Gareth Southgate made the right call?
I think so, because it's going to give chance for some of the other players to get some time out in the middle. And you've got probably now another game to come at the weekend. You want to make sure that your better players are still fully fit. Kane, Rice, Walker's only just come back from an injury himself, so I think he was always going to play a small part in the game.
Meantime, though, Ben Davies has gone down. I think he might have picked up a knock from somewhere. We'll find out what happened. I think that was after the Foden goal, which we're just seeing again on my monitor. Bang! Straight in there, and his celebrations very well, and the face on his and the celebration on his face very clear to see, and also the same could be said of Marcus Rashford. But we'll get back to Ben Davies. Luke, what do you think will have happened to him?
So when Rashford pressed him down for the second goal, he might have took a bit of a knock, which meant that he couldn't carry on because he just got off for Joe Morel. Is that?
Yes, indeed. I can confirm it is Joe Morel. I can confirm it is Joe Morel, number 16. So Ben Davies now off for a rest, and it's very likely his next competitive game won't be until the resumption of the league season, which will be in around a few weeks' time. So we now tick towards the hour mark. It's still England it's still England up in front, although Wales are starting to show although Wales are still starting to show more signs of attack. England, though, have to be careful that Wales don't force them to crumble under pressure. And the ball is now still with Wales. It just came off Kiefer Moore, and the ball almost tackled by Rashford for England. Although Wales still maintain control, it's Joe Allen, but and he was almost tackled by I think one of the substitutes. It's now with Connor Roberts passing to Kiefer Moore. And I think that was almost picked by Henderson. Although the ball has now ended up back with Ward, passing now to Joe Rodon, and but the ball's still with Wales defence. Although Rashford is looking to tackle it off. It's now gone straight back to Connor Roberts and Ethan Ampadu. Although I think Callum Wilson, by the looks of it, was looking to try and come up to him in attack, and the ball has now been passed back down to Dan James. Although Rashford is looking to tackle it off him, does so successfully, and he passes now to Jordan Henderson, who now has the captain's armband. But just as I say that, Henderson fouled by Ramsey, and in fact Ramsey goes over to have a look at him, and I think Ramsey's going to get it, and I think Ramsey's going to get a yellow card. But because he showed genuine concern for Henderson, I think that's the wrong decision.
I think the reason that Ramsey got the yellow card because he just did one a few minutes earlier, and it's like accumulation of fouls. And yeah, in a sense, that is even the yellow card tackle in itself. It's kind of studs into the ankle. But I mean, apart from the two fouls, what has Aaron Ramsey done in this game?
Absolutely nothing. Is what I can say. But of more serious concern is Jordan Henderson. He looks to be in a bad way, and it was brave of Gareth Southgate to put him on the field, given that he is a more experienced player. But he may well have to be substituted. He's back up onto his feet though, but he is limping. And his face is showing a lot of, and his face is grimacing in pain, and that is just terrible luck. That is just terrible luck for Henderson, and this is not what Southgate wants, and it'll be a free kick to England to be taken by I think that's Calvin. But I think that's Calvin Phillips. No, it isn't. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's Alexander-Arnold now passing the ball around to John Stones. It's Stones now with the ball for England, who passes back to Pickford. Now it's back again with Stones, and Stones crossing forward to Wilson, but nicked by Joe Morrell, and Morrell now passes to Connor Roberts, but a Wales player is down. It's Joe Rodon. Joe Rodon has gone down, and that was and a headbutt between Rodon and Wilson. What was all that about?
I think that they both tried to go for the ball, and basically Rodon headed into Wilson more than the ball. I mean, general attempt to get the ball there, to be honest. And bonus for us is the minute touch wood, it doesn't look like Jordan Henderson needs to go off. So positive news there currently.
Yes. Yes, currently, and what's the latest between Iran and the USA? Jack Heston.
Yeah, we're 60 minutes into the game here. It's still Iran 0, USA 1. Iran coming into the game just a bit more now. They registered the first shot on goal across by Rezien into the box. Found Godos was in the middle of the box. He got ahead of Sergio Dest, but he hit it on target. That has been the first shot of the game. They're yet to get a shot on target yet, but they're getting a bit more of the ball now, and perhaps even just looking for a bit of magic to get them back into this game, which they're still right in amongst at the moment. 59 minutes played. It's Iran 0, USA 1.
England now showing more of an attack, but the referee blowing his whistle for something. And indeed, in the stands is the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino. He doesn't look particularly interested in what's happening. He's probably texting a few of his mates on the phone as Luke Shaw is being substituted, and we will find out who is taking his place shortly. It's Kieran Trippier. He started the last 2 games. Now he comes on from the subs bench. Hasn't really made much of an impression throughout the World Cup, apart from passing the ball to his teammates, so to have therefore set up opportunities. Luke.
Yeah, Trippier and Shaw have both been a bit disappointing so far. I'm not quite sure which one you're asking me about, so I'll talk about both of them together. But I think both of them have chance to improve during the next. Well, Trippier now and Shaw in the next game. But I think when other players are shining through in games, it's a bit more difficult to get noticed at the back. But again, there's not been glaringly obvious errors from anybody so far.
You could be right there, but as things stand in Group B, England will have done enough to end on top, and so will therefore qualify for the round of 16. Currently in second place is the USA, but Iran only needs to draw and take their place from them. So currently it's still Wales 0, England 2 as we're just over the 66th minutes. It's Connor Roberts to once again take the throw in for Wales, and it's now with Joe Rodon. Rodon now passing down to Chris Mepham. Yes, indeed it is Chris Mepham, and Mepham looking for someone to pass it to. He passes to this time to, I think that's Joe Morrell. Morrell back towards Mepham, and it goes over the line for a throw to I believe England, and the England supporters are showing their approval over what's happening so far. Trent Alexander-Arnold now for England, and Alexander-Arnold now passing to what appeared to be Rashford. Now it's back with Maguire. Maguire now back towards Pickford in goal, and it's Pickford now back out to Stones, I think that was, or was it Maguire? Now it's Walker back to Maguire. Now it's back with Pickford, straight out back towards John Stones, and Stones now crossing to Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he passes really well to someone. Now it's been crossed up front to Marcus Rashford, and Rashford now entering the 18-yard box. Is it going to go for opening? And it's 3 for England! Marcus Rashford! You can count on him for crucial goals like this, and he's delivered one now. Mobbed and hugged by his teammates. And that is a well-deserved recognition by the Manchester United forward. He impressed during the match against Iran, and he's done so tonight. And that, Luke, I'm sure, makes up for his disappointment in the last game against the USA.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball over from Bellingham into Rashford. Rashford then cuts inside, skills past the fullback, and just slams it straight past Danny Ward. I mean, you've been brilliant tonight, Marcus Rashford. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, when we were talking before kickoff about Saka and Sterling coming out and Rashford coming in, Rashford's definitely proved why he was picked tonight.
He certainly has, and this could well set the seal for the victory England need to top Group B. And all I can say now for Wales is that not only do they have a mountain to climb, they have to climb the Matterhorn if they are to get back in touch with England. And it's not for lack of trying though, as Chris Mepham now passes down the wing to what looks to be what I thought was Chris Mepham. Yes, indeed it was. Or was it Joe Rodon? No, it was Joe Rodon. Rodon back towards Mepham, and Mepham now has to hold off Callum Wilson, although he passes. Although Rodon now has the ball, it's back towards Aaron Ramsey. Although Ramsey now has to watch out for Jordan Henderson, who, like Luke said, is still able to carry on playing across forward to Kiefer Moore, but well defended by Maguire. And the ball's now been passed down to Trent Alexander-Arnold, headed away though by Rodon to Joe Allen. And Joe Allen now passing to Aaron Ramsey. And with 20 minutes to go, England lead Wales by 3-0, although the deficit could well be reduced. Cut away by John Stones. Now the ball is with Phil Foden, and he defends that one really well, but from Brennan Johnson. Now it's been passed to Callum Wilson. Wales look like they're pressing towards the goal, but superb defending by Maguire and company.
Yeah, I mean, Johnson got the ball there, and to be honest, if somebody else had gambled on it, then they'd have been able to fashioned a chance, but unfortunately, nobody gambled on Johnson's ball in.
Yes, sir. Yes, certainly, and Wales can only try again. If they are to at least salvage, if they are to at least get a consolation goal, that's all they can ask for now. As Wilson tried, as James tried to pass forward, but was blocked by Alexander-Arnold. Now it's been given back to England, and it's Callum Wilson now with the ball for England. He's got to pass to Rashford. He's done so, and Rashford almost goes for 4, but deflected away by Danny Ward.
That was another brilliant chance for England. Unfortunately, this time Danny Ward just gets in the way of the shot from Rashford, but now it's a corner for England.
The corner now given to England. They failed to take advantage of their previous corners. Could this well be a change for them this time? As Foden now stands behind the ball, and straight away goes the ball into the 18-yard box, but easily saved though by Danny Ward. And Ward now throws the ball out to Aaron Ramsey, who passes to Connor Roberts, and Roberts now to Joe Rodon, but almost tackled by England, and I think that was Maguire, but the referee says play on, despite Maguire being down on the ground. And Wales now on the attack with Brennan Johnson. Johnson tries to cross to Kiefer Moore, but was again blocked by England, or was he offside? The offside flag has gone up. How do you see this one, and who do you think would have been offside?
That's a good question, Nick, and without seeing a replay, I couldn't really tell you, because I mean, I was focusing on Brennan Johnson's run, but here we go. Oh,
that was actually Phil Foden who was tackled by Joe Rodon, which the referee clearly missed. But it could either have been Johnson or Moore that was offside.
I mean, I think they're just given a throw.
Yep, the throw in is given to Wales. It's been thrown to Ramsey. Now back to Allen, I think that was. But the ball's now been cleared out to England, and that's a long range pass to Jordan to Danny Ward, I should say. But he manages to pass to Chris Mepham, and Mepham now straight to Ramsey. Ramsey now passing to Connor Roberts. That was through Joe Rodon. Now it's Dan James. Dan James now passing to Allen, back to Roberts. Roberts now passes up the wing to Rojon. Now it's with Mepham, and Mepham now needs to find a way to get the ball up front, which he just about does, but intercepted very well by England. And the ball has now been passed around to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now it's with Harry Maguire, and Maguire now passing to Pickford, and Pickford now managing to clear the ball back out to John Stones, I think that was, or was it Maguire? No, it was Maguire. It would have been Stones early on, but now it was sent out back to Maguire, and it's going to be a throw-in. And it's going to be a throw-in to England with around 15 and a half minutes. With around 15 and a half minutes to go, and I think Jack Grealish is going, and I think Jack Grealish is going to come on as a substitute, and he's going to come off in place of Marcus Rashford. And I have to, and Luke, would you say that Marcus Rashford deserves a rest after all those heroics he performed?
Yes, absolutely. I think that Marcus Rashford's done enough now, and he can hand it over to Jack Grealish. And again, see if Jack Grealish can get some joy on that side, just like Rashford's been doing. I mean, don't need to overwork a player too much into the ground when you're 3-0 up with 15 minutes to go.
Thrown by England, but given away to Wales. Now it's with Morel. Morel now passing to what looks to be Johnson, but tackled by England. Now the ball is with England. It's been crossed down to Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's still with Alexander-Arnold, although he has to hold off Wales. Now it's been passed around to, I think that was Marcus Rashford, but he was foul. Play still goes on though. But Joe Morel now has been brought down. But again, players have been halted for another substitute, and it's going to be Harry Wilson to come on in place of Dan James. Obviously, Wales need another fresh pair of legs, and it looks as though Rob Page has made the right call. I think seems to have made the right call with Harry Wilson. He's done well as a substitute for Wales in international matches previously. But England now on the attack with Phil Foden, and straight towards, I think that was Marcus Rashford, but blocked by Danny Wardle. Was it Foden? No, it was Phil Foden. But a fourth goal opportunity for England goes begging.
Yeah, Bellingham had 2 chances to score there. One was blocked by Mepham, and the other one got up and went straight across the box to Foden. And again, it was just pushed away. It was also saved by Danny Ward as well, the first one. But again, we're getting into areas. We still want more goals, which is a positive sign.
They're still pressing on towards more goals. Have there been any more great chances between Iran and the USA? Jack Hesson.
Yeah, we're 73 minutes into the game, and Iran are yet to get their first shot on target, but they had another excellent opportunity from that man Godos. Again, the ball comes in from the right hand middle of the box. He hits it on the turn, and it's curling into the top left-hand corner, but just goes an inch wide of the post. It looked like from this angle that it was going in, and it just went wide of the post. That's been the best opportunity for them so far. Otherwise, USA have been relatively comfortable in this game, but keep in mind, Iran only need 1 goal to go through to the next stage, and it is still 1-0 at the moment. So any lapse in concentration from USA could be costly.
Thank you, Jack. We're now back. Thank you, Jack. We're now about 12 minutes away from full time, and Wales still trying to hold on to the ball as much as they can from England, but a foul by Calvin Phillips, by the looks of it, and that would have been on one of the Wales defenders, and. But at this moment in time in Group B, England top the group by 7, with the USA still on second with 5. and Iran and Wales make up the bottom two places. And like Jack says, Iran only need a point to ensure their place in the round of 16. But but Iran's prospects currently look bleak right now as a play has been called to a halt. And I think it's difficult to and I can't see why players been stopped at the moment. So I think that might have something to do, and I think that might have something to do with Joe Allen. And Joe Allen now has the physios come onto the pitch to assess what's up with him. What do you think's wrong with Joe Allen, Luke?
I'm wondering whether the injury he's been out with for the start of the tournament started to play up again. So, I mean, he's now got to about 80 minutes into a game and he's not played much football. So, again, it could either be the fact that he's a bit fatigued or he's just feeling his injury a bit. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to carry on, is he?
You made the right call, and he is going to be replaced. You made the right call, and he is going to be replaced by Cardiff City's Ruben Colwill, and that will be his 8th appearance at international level. He's only scored one goal for the Red Dragons so far, but he sprints onto the pitch, and with with just under 10 minutes to go, it's still Wales 0, England 3. And the ball is now back with England. It's with Trent Alexander. It's with Alexander-Arnold straight now to Phil Foden, but headed away though by Wales back towards England. It's now back with Foden. Foden now passing this time to Calvin Phillips. Now straight to Jude Bellingham. Bellingham now has passed to Jack Grealish. That's the first time we've really seen him in action tonight. Straight now back to Foden, and now Harry Maguire. Maguire now passing again to John Stones, and Stones now trying to look for an opening, but he can only cross to Grealish, and Grealish has now entered the 18-yard box straight now to Jude Bellingham, defended by Wales. Bellingham didn't have a chance to get a shot on, but the ball is now being cleared out of play by Harry Maguire, and Gianni Infantino. And Gianni Infantino starting to feel a bit more relaxed about it. Has he finally started to show interest? I think he has. And it's Joe Rodon now with the ball for Wales, passing down to Harry Wilson, and Wilson now passing again to Rodon to I think that was Colwill, and now it's gone back to Mepham. Mepham crossing forward this time to I think that might have been Kiefer Moore, but Moore has brought down Harry Maguire. Maguire trying to explain his side of the story to the referee, but Maguire initiated it with a shirt pull on Moore, and I think Moore retaliated in return. Anyway, it's given a free kick now to Wales. And it will be, and it looks like it will be Harry Wilson that will take the free kick for Wales. It looks like England will have this one. So no matter what Wales do, because whatever fantasies they had of beating England by 4 goals or more appear to have well and truly gone out of the window. And Wilson runs up to the ball. He takes the free kick, blocks really well by the England defensive wall, and that has conceded, and that has given a throw into Wales. Great defending of the free kick by England.
Yeah, they were really well organised, and the ball just went straight into the wall and straight out. So, well defended England.
Yeah, certainly well defended by England, but Wales aren't giving this one up, though. It's Kiefer Moore now with the ball. He passes to Connor Roberts, and Roberts now has to hold off Alexander-Arnold. He did just that, straight towards Colwill, almost headed by, I think that was Kiefer Moore, but now it's back with Colwill, and Colwill skies it over the crossbar, but he was too far behind anyway, and that ball wasn't going anywhere.
No, leaned straight behind it, just smashed it, and more hope than judgment there, I'm afraid, from Ruben Colwell. We'll try better next time.
He certainly has. He certainly has to try better next time. So we've not, as we now enter the 84th minute of Wales against England on the commentary hub. It's still Wales 0, England 3, and it's now England with the ball through Calvin Phillips. He passes to Jordan Pickford in goal. Now he's passed the ball out to Harry Maguire, and Maguire doing a long range cross to. I think that's the Foden. Now back to Bellingham. Now it's back with Maguire. Straight now to Stones, and it's a Stones now with the ball. Straight now back to Alexander Arnold. Now back to Stones, and Stones now finding someone to pass to. That was Foden, but Foden shoved unnecessarily in the back by Joe Morrell. And the referee's quick, and the referee sees to that one quickly. That's surely got to be a yellow card for Joe Morrell. He was nowhere near the ball, but play is actually still going on. I'm surprised at this, as Maguire now passes to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Alexander-Arnold now crossing forward to Jordan Henderson. Now it's been picked up by Callum Wilson, but defended again by Wales, and the ball is now with. Morrell now back towards Connor Roberts, and Roberts passes to Danny Ward in goal, but the ball is, but he tries to chip it forward to somebody for Wales, and he manages to find Ruben Colwell. Colwell now trying to pass to I think that might have been I think that might have been Morrell, but England now have the ball back through Maguire. Now it's straight back to Stones, and now it's straight back to Stones, and I'm just going to we'll soon have our player of the match, as sponsored by Commentary Services mentioned. Just waiting for the right moment as Kiefer Moore now goes for a shot on target, but it goes over the crossbar. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. But Luke Turton, you have your player of the match.
Yep, I've picked Marcus Rashford today, Nick, mainly to do with his all-round gameplay and also his 2 goals. So, yeah, I've gone for Marcus Rashford.
Yes, congratulations to him. And just as you say that, he's now having a well-deserved break inside the substitutes canopy on the bench, as we now enter the final 3 minutes. It's still Wales 0, England 3, and the fans can now sense that that victory and a place in the round of 16 is very much on the horizon. Gareth Southgate seems to think so, and the ball is now being and it will be a free kick now to England, and it looks like it might be Jordan Henderson or somebody to take it. No, in fact, it is Maguire. Maguire on and Maguire passes the ball to Grealish, but Grealish was fouled by, I think, Ethan Ampadu. However, play still goes on, and the ball has now ended up back with Joe Morrell, and it's now straight to Calvin Phillips, who's passing to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Alexander-Arnold now to Harry Maguire, although Kiefer Moore is after the ball, but Moore shoves Maguire onto the ground very unnecessarily, and it was actually John Stones he pushed down. It was Stones, and Kiefer Moore, you have to say, Luke, was nowhere near the ball.
No, I think Moore just got a bit frustrated there and just took it out on John Stones. So easy free kick. We'll keep the ball and just manage the game.
He had no right to do that, and the ball is now with Jack Grealish. Grealish now passing back to Maguire, and and despite the fact that the score still remains the same, quick update from Iran against the USA. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, we're coming into the last 5 minutes of the game, plus, of course, stoppage time. And it is back to the wall for the USA. Iran are going to be throwing the kitchen sink at it. They had a handball shout in the box, which was waved away. And upon VAR check, showed there was no case to answer. And the USA breathed a sigh of relief there. But as I said, Iran are pushing everything forward now. And it really is, at this point, next goal's a winner.
Thank you, Jack. And we're now just taking a look at Jack Grealish. I think he got into a bit of a tangle with Ethan Ampadu, and indeed he did. Ampadu appeared to go for the ball, but he didn't realise that Jack Grealish was there, and so the free kick for England was and so England took the free kick. How do you see this one, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, from the memory of a couple of minutes ago, that was just a kind of match tackling incident that you do just get free kicks for. No real malice in it.
But as we say that, Callum Wilson has now entered the 18-yard box. Wilson looked like he was going for a shot, but he passed to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now it's back with Calvin Phillips, and 4 minutes have been added on in the game between Wales against England, and it looks like it'll be a throw in again, and it looks like it'll be a corner. It looks like it'll be a throw to England, or is it a corner? No, it's a corner, and England still haven't been able to convert their corners to any kind of success, and at the to any kind of success, and at the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium, it's still but a shot on target goes begging for John Stones. He came very close to the ball. The ball was just bashed around like a pinball, and Stones' efforts just went over the bar.
Yeah, just too much underneath it again from John Stones, but takes a few more seconds out of the added time, so not a big issue for us in this game.
No, certainly not. And it's now with Henderson. Henderson now passing the ball around to Foden, but Callum Wilson has been fouled, and I think somebody from Wales has been involved in that one. I can't see who it is that that he got tangled up with, but the Welsh player seems to have taken the worst of it. We'll see who it is shortly, and that was I think that might have been Chris Mepham or whoever it was, but a free kick given to England, and it's now with I think that was Rashford, but offside has been ruled out. No, it was Callum Wilson. I think Wilson was too far ahead, so the offside decision was the right one in my view. As England now try and get everything restarted, they need to get themselves organised with just under 90 seconds to go. England are surely just mere moments away from qualifying for the round of 16 as Group B winners, and the ball is now with Jude Bellingham. Bellingham now to I think that's Maguire. I think that's Grealish. Now it's gone back towards Bellingham, and Bellingham now passing it to Phillips, but Bellingham's still with the ball. Now he's passed the ball around to I think that's Grealish. It's Jack Grealish now with the ball, but almost brought down by Cole. Still manages to stay on ground though. The ball is now with Callum Wilson, and Wilson tries to pass back towards Grealish, and now it's with Phil Foden. But blocked by Wales, although it's too little, too late, and Joe Rodon has gone onto the ground.
think the Wales players are really starting to feel their energy levels drop now in the last few seconds of this game. But I mean, again, if England really wanted to, they could score another goal here. But I don't think they really need to be honest. It's just trying to keep hold of the ball at that end of the field.
Yes, yes, you're right there. We're now into the 94th minute, and there goes the whistle. England have won Group B, and we can we can only wait for the final outcome between Iran and the USA to see who will take second place. But for now, what matters is that England have topped Group B. And they will face Senegal. And they will face Senegal at the weekend. But around the stands on the pitch, there's very little celebration between the players to signify that they qualified. Just mutual handshakes. Just mutual handshakes and everything else that goes with it. And there's the confirmation. England have qualified for the next round. We're still waiting. And 9 minutes have been added between between Iran and the USA. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, 9 minutes. 1 minute just now. Iran have the ball and they're trying to push everything forward. I'm not too sure exactly where they've got the 9 minutes, but of course it is the new protocol now to add every piece of stoppage. There has been a lot of free kicks and injuries in the game, so perhaps where he's got that from, but it's going to be a nervy 9 minutes for the Americans, that is for sure. One goal and Iran will surely go through to the last 16.
Thanks, Jack. Stay tuned, everybody, for the final outcome between Iran and the USA. But for now, Luke, England are through and deserved winners, you have to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was saying at half time, all England needed to do was score some goals and take some chances, and it started with a Rashford free kick, and then it just opened it up. I think again, you look at the chances that were created in the first half, you're thinking, if we can get a bit closer to the goal and get a final ball right, we will score. And patience proved dividends, and in the end we come out 3-0 winners.
We've now got Russ Vernon back with us. Russ, how do you summarise that match between England and Wales?
Well, Nicholas, I said before the game started, my friend, I said before kick-off, England were going to win, and I thought it'd be 2-0. Danny Ward, and I said, if you shoot at Danny Ward, he makes mistakes, and that's what he did, especially for the second Marcus Rashford goal. It was a fantastic performance. It was a dominant performance from England. I'm not sure if you or Luke can tell me, was Gareth Bale even playing today? Because I don't even remember seeing him once on the ball today. It was that quiet. But you've got to say, Wales, I know they're going out now at the tournament. They've given a good account of themselves, and they had I think the game against Iran led them down, and which is why Wales have now gone through. But nevertheless, fantastic performance from England, and fully deserving of the win tonight. And Marcus Rashford, he's played well yet again. He played well when he came on in the other game, played well tonight from the start. I was surprised he got substituted. I'd have kept him on a bit longer, see if he could have got his hat-trick. And I was hoping Callum Wilson had scored, because he's, in the 2 games he's come on in against Iran and then tonight, he's played absolutely fantastic.
Okay, we'll get back to Luke and Ross in a moment, but a chance for Iran, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, we're 94 minutes into 9 minutes of added time, and that was a huge opportunity for Iran. Lovely ball from the free kick on the left-hand side, and it's the centre-half, Murtaza Pouralighani, with the diving header that just goes wide to the right of Turner's goal, and perhaps a let-off for the USA, but they're looking to try and see out this game now. They have the ball when it'll be difficult to see if they can hold on to it for long enough, because the Iranians will be coming again with 5 minutes left, 94 minutes played, and it's Iran 0, USA 1.
Okay, we'll have the final result for Iran and the USA as and when we can. But I have to say that this isn't the last we'll see of Wales at an international tournament like this. This is purely my opinion. And what with the next World Cup being allowing for 48 teams, I reckon that Wales, after they make a few tweaks here and there, they'll surely be in with a chance.
Yeah, I think the trouble is with Wales is they rely too much on Bale and Ramsey, and neither of them have been that great in the tournament. I mean, Bale scored 1 penalty and created not a lot. Aaron Ramsey's done absolutely nothing apart from foul plays all tournament. So, I mean, it's time to try and find a bit of a solution for those two, because I think they're about done. But apart from that, they've got some decent talent. It's just whether they can knit it together in a fashion that proves a bit more effective than they were tonight.
Yes, indeed. But we're still waiting for. We're still awaiting confirmation for Iran against the USA. And before we go into that, I just have to say, I just have to ask you, Russ, who would have been your player of the match after Luke Turson plumped for Marcus Rashford?
I just seen that, Nicholas, just before you come to me about that Luke gave Marcus Rashford his player of the match. A number of players played well for England today. I know that for me anyway, I think Rashford did play well. I thought Wilson played well when he came on, but he was only a cameo for Callum Wilson when he came on. I thought Phil Foden had a decent game as well. Luke Shaw had another decent game. I can Walker did as well. I'll probably go for Luke Shaw. And, yeah, I know he didn't get an assist in the game, but I think he played really well down that left back for England tonight and caused quite a few problems as well. So I think that England, for me, have got a good left back on the hands there. If he stays fit and continues to play for Manchester United in the Premier League, he's going to have a big future ahead of him. And I think he's just going to get better. So Luke Shaw would be my player of the match. He's only 27 as well, so he's got a few more years ahead of him. So, yeah, Luke Shaw for me, Nicholas, was my player of the match. Would you agree with that Shaw had a good game as well, Luke? I know you went for Rashford. Did you agree Shaw had a good game tonight?
I think Luke Shaw had an okay game, Russ. I mean, I think you get lost more in the attacking play when you're scoring 3 goals and trying to look more at what the play is up that end. And to be honest, Luke Shaw's balls weren't that great into the box, but at the end of the day, yeah, right, didn't concede. So you've got to say that Luke Shaw played fairly well. But I think obviously Rashford, Foden, even to an extent Harry Kane did okay tonight as well.
Yes, indeed. He did. So England through to play Senegal at the round of 16. Russ, you covered Senegal, Ecuador. You covered Senegal, Ecuador earlier on today. How do you think both teams will fare at the weekend?
Well, for me, Nicholas, Senegal were the better side against Ecuador. Really, they had the majority of chances in that game. They limited Ecuador to number of chances. I know Southgate will look at how Senegal play to work out a way of beating them, like he looked at the way Wales played, look at the way Iran played as well, and looked at the way, if they're calling the win, how to not lose against USA, so he's got those ways about him. So for me, we'll look at that game and see which is the best way of beating him. Look at the players, he's got to look at the personnel, a bigger team to beat him, and I think England could do a good job. Senegal obviously do the other thing, look at how England play and have a good chance of that. But I think England could get through. Yes, as I said, Senegal is strong. They've got some good players at the back. Edouard Mendy, so some of these players from England will know how those certain players will play because they play against them week in, week out in the Premier League. So for me, I think it'll be a good game, and I think England will just edge it through. I'm not going to give a prediction just yet. I'll wait until the weekend.
Okay, and it's now full time at the Al Subama Stadium between Iran and the USA. Jack Hesson, your final thoughts, please.
Yeah, it's full time at the Al Subama Stadium, and the USA have done it. They are through to the last 16, and it was nervy at the end. There was potential calls for penalty shout on Taremi. When Taremi was brought down, it looked like by Cameron Carter-Vickers. Obviously, it would have been looked at by VAR and deemed no penalty, much to the frustration of the Iranians. But otherwise, Iran just struggled to use any of the late dominance to create any kind of clear-cut chances that could have got the equalising goal. And ultimately, USA's defence held firm. And if I was to pick two man of the match today, it would definitely be Cameron Carter-Vickers and Tim Ream, because they put out an excellent performance in the second half to see it through for the USA after Christian Pulisic's goal on 38 minutes gave them the lead. USA through to the round of 16. It's full time. It's Iran 0, USA 1.
Okay, now, okay. Stay with us for the moment, Jack. The USA are going to be away to the Netherlands in the round of 16. How do you see their chances?
Well, you watch the Netherlands and the group. The Netherlands have a very good team, I think. If they can get through this next round, then they could potentially go even further, perhaps even towards the semi-final. But you've seen them against Senegal, draw against Ecuador, the game against Qatar. Yeah, it was a bit of a write-off in the end, but they still only won by 2-0. And ultimately, this USA team have looked impressive in all the games. I think they were unlucky not to get the win against Wales. They've done well for the draw against England, and the win tonight was just absolutely start to finish. Really, it's a really comfortable result for them in the end, despite the scare at the end. So I think they'll go into that game against Holland with a lot of confidence that they can cause them problems.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much to Jack for your. Thank you very much to Jack for your thoughts and opinions on USA Iran, and of course. And of course for your updates, they've been very much appreciated, my friend. Thank you also to Luke for being a superb co-commentator, and also thank you to Russ Vernon for gathering his thoughts. Before we go here is a list of the games that we are going to cover tomorrow. It's Tunisia. Paul James will be bringing in updates from Tunisia against France. The main game the main 3:00 game tomorrow will be Australia against Denmark with Russ and Luke on comms. Then tonight it's a big game between Saudi Arabia and Mexico with myself with myself behind the mic, and also Mike Harneman will be bringing in updates on Poland against Argentina. So Group C and D are to be decided tomorrow. How do you see Luke and Russ? How do you see Group C and D? How do you see Group C and D being resolved? Because we know France are top. Because we know France have already advanced to the round of 16 through Group D. Who will join them?
Personally, for me, I think Australia will join them because of the fact that Denmark have been really, really poor, and I've not seen much more from Tunisia either. So I think Australia from their group will progress in that one. As for the other group, again, I can't see much more than Poland getting into second, and I mean, as for topping the group, I have no idea. I think Poland and Argentina will probably go through.
And
And for me, Nicholas, I think it'll be, as we know, France already through from Group D. I think Australia will join them like Luke Turton. I don't think Denmark have got enough this tournament to get through. And with Tunisia, I don't think they've got enough to get through. So I think Australia will progress there. In Group C, I think Poland will get through as group winners. And I think Saudi Arabia may just get through against Argentina. And I think it'll be that victory that Saudi Arabia got against Argentina, which will just edge them past Argentina. I think they'll get the win tomorrow. Saudi Arabia against Mexico, because Mexico have not looked that great this tournament. So I think Saudi Arabia will get through, and I think Argentina will go out. So I think it'll be Poland and Saudi Arabia that will go through from Group C and into the round of 16 for me. And Jack Heston, before we go as well, who do you reckon is going to get through from those two groups, mate?
From the sorry, it was the line was breaking up there. What group? Sorry.
Group C and Group D. So we already know in Group D, France have gone through. Which groups do you think? Who do you think is going to join France in the round of 16 from Group D? And who do you think is going to get through in Group C between Poland, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico?
Well, I think Denmark the quality will show through in that final game against Australia, and they'll see it through comfortably. Similarly with the other group, I think Argentina, obviously, they went off to a sluggish start at the very beginning against Saudi Arabia, but they pulled it back against Mexico, and I think they will manage to get through with a win in that game. Similarly with Mexico, I think they will show a better showing than they did in the previous game, and they'll be able to see past Argentina, get themselves through to the next round after that. And apologies, the line was breaking up there.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. No problem. Thank you, everybody. You all deserve a break from our superb coverage on the Commentary Hub, which is of course the home of alternative commentary.
Yes,
So,
Nicholas, just before we do wrap up, who do you think is going to get through in those two groups, my friend?
oh dear, now you're asking me.
Yeah, you asked us, Nicholas. So let's ask you the same question.
Well, I think it's going to. Well, I think it could. Well, I think it could well go either way between Poland and Argentina, as we know they're good on their day. But it all depends on how many goals are scored between Saudi Arabia and Mexico. Saudi Arabia, whilst they started off strongly against Argentina, they did lose to Poland. Poland, of course, do have the advantage, having drawn against Mexico in their first game. But I think Group C is very much wide open. As for Group D, that is going to be a really tough one to call. Tunisia are probably going to cave under the pressure for France. So yet again, they will fail to make it through to the round of 16, no matter how hard they try. And it's going to be equally tough between but it's also going to be a pretty close one between Australia and Denmark. Although as we've heard, Denmark haven't been performing really well. Australia could well make the round of 16. And coincidentally, it was their their last victory against Tunisia was their first since 2010. So certainly at World Cup level. So Australia are a side not to be underestimated. So I'll be sure to listen. So I'll be sure to listen out for how that one will go. So my thanks once again to Luke, Ross, and Jack for their opinions, comments, and especially Jack for his updates between Iran against the US. Everyone did their job really well, and it's all been much appreciated. So 3 Lions, 3 goals. They roar louder than the Welsh Dragon, but will the 3 Lions keep on? But can the 3 Lions keep on marching towards the victory? We will see in the round of 16. So that just about wraps it up on the Commentary Hub. We'll see, and that wraps it up. And that about wraps it up for us on the Commentary Hub. Join us again tomorrow. Join us again tomorrow just before 3 o'clock for Australia against Denmark, and of course the highlights between Tunisia against France. Will Australia make a further advance and perhaps make it through to the round of 16? Who knows? Until then, good night.